What is going on? Bucky, Ricky, G Money, Andrew, other Andrew somewhere, Gravinder, how you guys doing? Welcome, welcome. So if you look back at the day, pretty much flat. We got that huge gap up this morning, pull back in the morning, and then we came right back up. But overall, if you look at it, it's not that much movement, right, guys? We got a gap up. It held the gap up, which is good. And we opened about 406.50 and we closed at 408.26. So less than a $2 move up on SPY. Obviously, overall bullish, pretty not bad. We didn't fill that gap from yesterday. So as long as we held that gap open, it is a bullish day overall. Other than that, we do have some stuff going on here. So if you guys remember where I called the bottom last Thursday, I literally yelled it in the voice chat. I said I'm out of all my puts and I jumped in SPX calls 2 layers. Reason being, one of them was the daily. On the daily here, you guys see, this is the COVID low anchored VWAP, the white line here. And if you zoom in last week where I called the bottom, we almost touched it to the dot right here. So that's one area of support. Another area of support, I was looking at the chart last night actually on the daily. Right about here. So you have this little resistance right here, and then we finally broke out of it in March, and you've seen the rip we got. We finally came back down and retested that as support. So it was a double support. Obviously, we should have seen it before, but I did call it on the day of, so it's not that big a deal, right? So when you have 2 layers of support, it's called an inflection point. I've been over this, all the MSL premium members know, but inflection point means there's 2 areas of support there. So it's a very, very key level. If we broke through there, we were gonna go a lot lower. Since we held, it's a very strong area of support with 2 supports lining up, and we did bounce nice. What's up, Ricky? How you doing, Guggen? And yeah, we just kept bouncing for the last 4 days. We have been green. There are some things that concern me. One of them being, in this 4-day bounce, from the low to the high, we are up on SPY about 6% on SPY. Whereas on VIX, usually it's not going to be exact numbers, guys, but usually it's pretty close, right? That's the worry this time. It's not even close, I would think. So 4 days down on VIX was negative 27% on VIX in 4 days and only positive 6% in SPY. So what does this mean, right? Let's go look at the historical facts just for fun here, guys. I mean, from March 14th until the high on March 29th, we moved up 11% plus in SPY. Let's see March 14th on VIX to March 29th. Right about here, March 14th. God damn it, move out of my way. March 14th right here, and March 29th right here. So VIX was down 43, SPY was up over 11%. So that's a 4-to-1. I don't know how to do math right now. It's too late in the day, but you guys know what I mean. We should have had a bigger move up with the VIX down 28% in 4 days, guys. That's all I'm saying. And even if you look back here, it was down 43%. Obviously, I don't have a calculator on me. I'm not going to calculate the difference, but pretty obvious to the naked eye. 6% to 28% and 11% to 43%. We should have had a bigger up move on SPY as the bottom line. Other than that, QQQ, we don't really have to do anything. XLF showed strength today. As I said yesterday, XLF was the strongest close. It looked the strongest to me until the end of the day. But we did get that follow through, and the problem now is we left huge gaps on all the indexes. So we left a huge gap on XLF, left a huge gap on QQQ. Actually, QQQ filled it. QQQ looks like it filled the gap. Yesterday's high 302.26, 300. Yeah, QQQ filled the gap. SPY filled the gap too? The wicks filled the gap, but the body of the candle did not fill the gap. So we did leave some space underneath for a pullback, and tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is VIX expiry. As soon as VIX expires, then it's all holds barred. The bears can step back in and we can go right back down. That's why I took off a lot of my call exposure. I know a lot of people are expecting a gap up tomorrow. I know a lot of people are expecting more of a rally. Me, myself included, I do expect a little more of a rally, but Since the VIX expires tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I told you guys last week we should rally till at least Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I reduced a lot of my long exposure. Other than that, the VIX does look like a cup and handle, obviously. Good eye, Ginger. I've only had it drawn on every post market every day, but it looks like a little cup and handle with the cup being broken at 36. And we're just kind of consolidating here. Right now we're sitting right on the 50-day moving average. We'll see where we go from here. SPX, I send the levels every single day. They're pretty good. They work most of the time. Today we did close above 40.80. Next level up is 4100. After 4100, I have 41, 16, 40, and 50. JPM, biggest winner of the day, made up for my Tesla stop out yesterday. As I said last week, guys, I was very bullish coming into this week until Wednesday. I took a ton of Tesla calls. I went a little heavier than I usually do over the weekend. Monday, obviously, completely faked me out. And then today we got the real move that we were waiting for all weekend and since last week. And then tomorrow's VIX expiry, then we start all over. It's going to be very fun to short. The harder this market rips this week, it's going to be way funner to short next week or the week after. Because I do see a few signals that are showing me that we're going to go right back down after this little rip. I'll discuss those when it's time to discuss those. But JPM, huge gap up almost $4 on the day from the low from yesterday's close, which was 118. Today's high was 123. So we had almost a $5 move on a bank, and we had calls, and those calls went over 150%. So congrats if you caught it. Made up for a lot of my losses, but again, as you guys see here, we are clearly on a longer term downtrend. And it looks like the maximum bounce they give us on these bear rallies is to the 50-day moving average. Reject down, 50-day reject down, 21-day reject down, 21-day reject down. So you guys see how these bounces are getting weaker and weaker. If we continue in a downtrend, we won't even be able to wait for the 21-day to short anymore. It'll probably just bounce to the 8-day and keep going down. So every bounce is getting weaker. We're still clearly in a longer term downtrend. And just don't get too heavy. Even if I'm playing counter trend, like I'm playing calls, obviously I got bullish for this week. My positions are way smaller than they were when I was playing puts. When I was playing puts, I'd take like 100, 200 contracts. Now that I'm playing calls, I'll take like 40, 50, you know? Except JPM, I took pretty heavy. Well, I took 100, they're cheap, but whatever. That's another topic for another time, but if you are playing counter trend, I suggest going lighter than if you're playing with the trend. And when it's time to take puts again, you'll see my full size coming out again, because I feel more comfortable in puts in a long-term downtrend. D-Dog here, I did take some today. It just dumped for no reason, no news, no nothing. Rest of the market was bouncing. Bought some calls here at like $2. We bought the $100 calls. I stopped out of some of them for $1.65. And it was covered by my other scale outs on SPX, AMC. And yeah, LabU I'm still in, full size. I'm waiting for this one because it's a better setup on the weekly than anything I've seen so far. As you guys see here, this is the weekly candle from last week on LabU. Remember, it's a 3x biotech bull. Biotech is the most beaten up sector. Big hammer candle last week. You see this volume increasing like this and then topping out like here. This is what you see usually on capitulation, guys. Usually on capitulation, you'll see huge selling volume. Eventually, sellers get exhausted. There's no one left to sell, and then the stock starts going up. And that's exactly what I'm seeing on LabU. I don't think you'll find anyone else online talking about this stock. I did my research over the weekend, and this is the XBI. This is the biotech sector that it tracks. If you guys scroll out on this one, it's at levels that it hasn't seen since like 2018, guys. So very confident in this play. Let's see what happens. It has a support here from December of 2018. It retested it during COVID. It retested it now, and now we're bouncing off. And if you guys zoom out in 2018, we had a massive, massive rally. I will be rolling these out into leaps as well. You guys see, just from probability standpoint, this is a weekly chart, 2018. After it hit that support, it rallied up for 3 weeks straight and got back that whole move down here, the last move down. Same thing in 2020, rallied up for like 5 straight weeks, took back that whole move. So basically what I'm saying is, if biotech wants to rally, let's go back to LabU here. If biotech wants to rally like it did in 2018, like it did in COVID, this stock's going to 19 bucks, guys. I know it's hard to believe, but I see 1956, 20 bucks on LabU coming. And it's not going to take long. It's going to take like 3-4 weeks max. So let's see what happens with LabU. I'm planning on these calls. Premium are so whack. I'm just going to buy more as well tomorrow. I'm trying to get out of them for 50 or 100% and then roll them out to January like Bucky did. We discussed it earlier. But let's see what happens, and let's see if we get that big ramp move. Here is AMD, absolute monster. The daily, as you guys see here, I do have a big trend line all the way back from 2019 on the daily. Acted as support many times, then it started acting as resistance, and we are right at that line right now, as you guys see here. So rejecting from that line today. Will we rip right through it? I don't know. Maybe we need to bull flag here for a couple days before taking back that support. I mean, previous support, now resistance. But right now, AMD, if the market turns south, AMD is a very, very easy short, guys, in my opinion. Very easy. And let's see what happens tomorrow on AMD. So remember this trend line, guys. Like, look at this. Very, very clean trend line. So let's see if we can get back over it. If we can't get back over it, it's going to be one of the easiest shorts when the market turns down again, which it will. Airbnb here. Now, I discussed this play on voice chat today. Reopening plays are hot. They're overcharging customers. Customers don't care. They just want to leave their house. It's near an all-time low. It's bear flagging on the daily. It's beaten up RSI, beaten up stochastics. If you go to the Bollinger Bands here, we are looking like we're trying to bottom here, just based on a lot of stuff. If you guys look at the 8-hour, this is a very bottoming pattern. It might be a bear flag that we break down to new lows, but it is Airbnb, guys. Like, this is a solid company. 8-hour MACD has crossed bullish. 4-hour has as well, I believe. Yeah, 4-hour cross bullish, 8-hour cross bullish, and then I was looking at the weekly chart as well. And we did put in a nice little hammer candle last week, and we are outside of the Bollinger Bands on the weekly on Airbnb, which has never happened before. So I took my shot on Airbnb. I took some June 3rd calls. I did go small. I will add to them, because if there's a different types of bear market rallies, guys. There's a 4-hour oversold bear market rallies, which last about 8 to 12 hours. There's daily bear market rallies, which can last a week, 2 weeks. Then there's weekly bear market rallies, which is what I believe we're going to have right now, where we can even bounce for a month. Like, if we don't go down next week, I think this rally can go a lot higher, just based on some of the weekly candles. Like, you see Airbnb closed last week outside of the Bollinger Bands. They didn't even have bad earnings. Like, there's no reason for it to go down this much. It was down 11% last week, and the week before that, another 11%. So down a lot on a good company. And I think the weekly on Friday will close inside the Bollinger Bands, which will put it at about 123.21, which is a $6 move. Our calls will be up a lot. It's easy money. AMC. Now, there's a lot of news. You guys know I hate these stocks. I'm not investing in these stocks, but for squeezes, I love playing them, as you guys know. Might even add another layer to this. Why? Because as you guys see here, this is a 30-minute chart. So this is the last from my May 12th, May 13th, May 16th, and today. We basically had sideways, if you guys look at this, basically sideways for 4 days straight, and we're just starting to get back to that last Friday's candle here. We have crossed over all these moving averages. You guys see on Friday, we rejected from the 200-day. We didn't even try it on Monday. We tried it on Tuesday, rejected, and today we finally got over it. If you switch over to the hourly, it's the same thing. It's almost the exact same thing, and now we're approaching the 200-day on the hourly, which will be at $13.33. We have $13 calls for next week, so it's a good risk to reward for me. You got the biggest pension company in the world buying AMC GME. You got Ray Dalio selling Tesla to buy AMC GME. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is yet, but I think there's a squeeze left in this AMC GME. DT, I took some calls after hours for earnings. Why did I take them? I've been seeing flow on this name for like 6 months now, guys. There's somebody obsessed with this company. I don't know. They were buying calls all the way down, and I seen more calls come in today and last week and the week before. I don't know what this company is, but maybe they have some kind of news that's coming out and the guy just can't time it right. So let's see if they announce it on earnings tomorrow. And I didn't even play any of those losing positions, and I played tonight. Let's see what happens. It's complete lotto. I expect 0 on it. I'm not large at all. And NDM equity, I called out last week, I believe, at $2.69. Obviously, we did dip below it a little bit. But this company, what it is I know it's a 3D printing company. I know no one likes 3D printing companies when the rates are raising and stuff. But last year, Kathy Wood was buying this stock all the way on this run up. Buy, 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 buy. She held through all of this and now she's selling at $2. What did the company do? The management of the company, they did a cash raise here. They did a cash raise here, cash raise here. They did 8 or 9 cash raises. So they have enough cash to operate under any circumstance. What's up, Tonka? How you doing, bro? So they raised enough cash for the company to have a long-term future, to have as much cash as they need for anything that they want to do. And then on the way down, when Kathy's selling, I seen Kathy sell. I'm like, yo, I'm buying some equity. So I bought some equity. Not only are they have more cash than they're worth. So if you're, let's say you say Walmart is worth $100 million, but Walmart has $150 million on their balance sheet. You're basically buying their business for free. You're saying any of their profits, any growth they have, that's completely free. And we're just buying you for cash value. That's what NNDM is right now. They have more cash than their market cap is. So that's a great equity play long-term fundamentally. I will be scaling some out quick just because obviously it's a 3D printing company. I don't know how low the market goes. But as you guys see here today, they did a share buyback for a company like this. A growth company doing share buybacks, that's the stuff of like big boys like Apple's, Google's, and those kinds of companies. These little companies can't afford to do buybacks. They usually have to use their cash to grow their company. But since they have so much cash on hand, they're also buying back $100 million of stock. So I think it's a good play. I think you guys, if you are not in it, I think you should look into it. And let's see what happens. I mean, huge volume today as well. Let's see how far it goes. We got earnings coming up apparently on May 31st. And let's see how they report. Other than that, I hope you guys had a great day. Tomorrow's a brand new day. Don't come in with a bias. I might just turn back full bear mode any day now. But for right now, I do see the market going a little bit higher. Other than that, I hope you guys had a good day. Thanks you for attending, and I'll see you tomorrow.